Okay, we're going to talk about the spread of hiring freezes pretty much across North America. A little bit about the hiring freeze that's happening in Ontario with public sector, how this is affecting entry level jobs, and where Canada's youth is going to fall once the dust settles on this pretty much transforming economy. My name's Alex. I run an AI agency here in Toronto called Peak Demand Incorporated. We help small business, medium sized enterprise, all the way up to municipalities and transit systems. We're getting a lot of attention from healthcare providers and manufacturers right now in Canada. Those seem to be the gigasectors adopting AI first. We are a little slow to adoption, but we're getting there. But big news out from the Ontario government on freezing hiring for I think it's around 140 uh, public service agencies employed by Ontario right now, and they're doing freezing across the board. I did a short video on that just recently, put it up on YouTube, and got a lot of traction. I was getting people in the gym telling me that they were seeing me on YouTube, which is different from how we normally experience feedback, just because we're talking about AI. I can tell you right now, it's not the most popular topic of conversation in Canada, especially with the current job market. But it's getting there, and we're seeing more people come in and book discovery calls with us for AI automations, AI receptionists. So I want to get into a little bit about what's happening with jobs, how that is affecting young people, where AI is coming in. And I want to leave some helpful guidance for young people entering the job market now, because as a business owner, it is very, very clear to me that even when we're considering who to bring on just for even contracting work, like we're looking for partners, vendors who have quite literally proven out results. They have portfolios. Education for me, I don't care. You could have not graduated high school, and if you can put together AI driven automations, hey, you got a really great shot at peak demand. For me, the education system itself needs an entire overhaul. I've learned more since OpenAI's come out in the last few years. I've learned more than my entire education career combined. So, not really concerned about education so much as a business owner looking to expand the team. Something to take into consideration if you're a young person. Your degree is not going to be as valuable as you think. I'm going to show you what I would think the job market's looking for, but again, this is bias. So I want to take it to through it a little bit, just into what's happening with the freezes, AI automation, the peak aging of our pretty much our demographics here, weak investment in tech, and a big need to upskill in Canada right now. So, what's actually happening? Hiring freezes are spreading across public and private sectors as organizations pause to rescope roles for an AI first operating model. So, literally, we're seeing across the board, across the planet, organizations are going AI first, and then they're considering hires. So if you're seeing companies freeze hiring, or someone says, "Hey, we're going to pause on any new people," likelihood is that upper management is looking at how to carry out operations with AI tools, which is great. Like, that's the evolution of business. But as someone who wants to be employed, or someone who's looking for work, really got to pay attention right now. How AI is changing entry level work, being automated first. So this is the big hang up. People who don't have a job right now, the prospects of getting a job are shrinking at warp speed. And that's because artificial intelligence is making it very easy for those jobs to get carried out in the background. Like all the mundane tasks, answering phone calls, doing analysis on things, um, entering things into maybe a portal or CRM. All of that stuff is very easily, well, not it's not easy, but we are able to put together automations that can carry out those tasks. Businesses are contracting agencies to do that for them. A lot of them are trying internally, having some issues, and then going to agencies and getting that done. So that sort of entry level opportunity for people coming out of school for admin work, being an intern, you can't really think about that stuff anymore. You got to really think about getting the right skills for companies to hire you for a specific role in automation, AI, or just doing something that's, you really couldn't be replaced, like healthcare, or we're going to get into why electricians are going to be really important. So growing tasks, data operations, workflow automations, AI or agent prompt evaluations, QA analytics, documentation, all this stuff is AI is doing it all. So you really can't think of admin stuff as a great way to get into the workforce. Employers are prioritizing candidates who can ship small automation, show measured impact, and govern them responsibly. So that's how our team got started. We were building out automations for a company here, a municipality there, and then it caught fire. Like, more companies wanted to get into it, and we built out automations that work, that are integrated. And so really it was that traction that allowed peak demand to grow. But no one here is entry level. We all have background in, enterprise, SaaS. For me, it's across the board: digital, sales, marketing, pretty much everything you can think of for a business. That's why I have to do a lot of the body dragging at the company. But it really, if you're an employer, and this is how I think too, I'm looking at someone who wants to join the team. They have a wealth of experience, because a wealth of experience means in the world of AI, you can take a lot of those skills and apply it to the technology. Now, if you're just starting and you don't have experience, you need to get experience on your own. You need to go out, play with things, do things, train yourself, get certifications on your own to demonstrate to the job market that you have the wherewithal, the initiative to want to join it, because the wall is rising. The wall of entry is rising. So in the Canadian context, Ontario's hiring freeze signals caution and demand for clear productivity cases for new hires. Productivity is a savage issue in this country. People like to get hired for a steady wage, pay their bills, a lot of the times just to pay their mortgage, go home, put their head under the covers, and that's it. We've been living like this for decades, and our government growth has pretty much eclipsed our private sector growth, because we're extremely addicted to just, bigger budgets in government, just hire a whole bunch of people to do stuff. And that's really coming undone now with these recent freezes, especially in Ontario, where we got a huge population in Ontario that doesn't have jobs. We got a high unemployment rate, and the labor market is screaming for an answer. So when Ontario goes and turns around and says, hey, we're going to freeze hiring, you guys have to figure it out. To me, this is an indication that our economy is biting the bullet, and that government is now signaling productivity is a real issue. We got to figure things out. Maybe technology is the way to go. But I can tell you right now, entry level roles for, especially in the service, for Service Ontario, all that stuff, admin stuff, going the way of the dodo bird. So what does this mean for Canadian youth? This is where, if you're a young person in Canada and you somehow came across this video, I want you to just take a few seconds, pay attention, because the traditional learn about stuff, land a junior job, learn on the job, and then grow into a role, that's narrowing, if not completely being erased. Like, there's no on ramp for you guys anymore to get work. And I know what that looks like. Back in the day when I was having to work salary jobs, it would just be, do this admin work, answer these emails, answer the phone, fill out these forms, all of these things that would messy or glue up smooth operations that managers didn't have time to do, because they were too busy telling people what to do. Those people would end up doing it, and you would get paid $12, $15 an hour, or whatever the minimum wage was when I was working. So for me, looking at that experience that I had and saying, hey, I was able to get a job, get some experience, tell my next employer I had a year experience, get a job for a year, 2 years, and tell my next employer I had 2, 3 years experience. That chain of events is becoming extremely difficult for you guys to capture and leverage. And so the way that employers are looking now is, well, we're only going to take people on if they have a specialized skill that we can't have a robot do, or they know how to build robots. So for me, as an AI agency owner, I'm looking at that saying, well, the level of difficulty there is to effectively build out AI automations is so high that hiring people just to do AI stuff is going to be extremely difficult. Let's get serious. Like it's not the easiest even selling people on AI automations. Uh, to hire someone on full time to do it and having an AI internal team, likely going to be a larger organization before a small business. If you're a small business, you need help with AI, book a time with their team, no problem, we'll help you. But the value that you get as a young person just to know and understand these things and how they work, even basic prompting engineering, you're going to have a better shot, getting into maybe not an entry level role, but maybe an entry to mid level role that you can negotiate on, or maybe you can bring things from your portfolio that you've done that will really help you get the job. Those are things that employers are looking for on the tech side. If you're not in tech, hell, I would say find a trades or a human intensive environment like healthcare, where really bodies are needed on the front line to do stuff. In particularly, if you're a young person and you're looking at a future career, it's like, hey, I just want to be able to make money. I just want to be able to pay my bills, feed my family, so on and so forth. Become an electrician. Electricians are going to be the most sought after tradespeople in the world over the next 10, 20 years. 100%. 100%. And that's just because of the amount of data centers that are going up across the globe. So the two durable tracks for Canadian youth to capture work and pay bills is digital or AI track, where you're living a life like me and my team. Not the most fun, rewarding, but not the most fun. Or the human intensive track, where you're working in a licensed, regulated role with high trust, in-person demand, healthcare, nursing, skilled trades like electrician, education, field services, like teachers, electricians, people who, plumbers, people who fix stuff with their hands. They will always have roles in society. If you're not doing that stuff, then you got to know data and technology, which is, I can tell you right now, going back, I'm looking at my life and I'm thinking, Alex, if you started about electrician about 18, you probably have, locations across the globe right now. But we fall into AI just because of the path that fate sets for us. And I got to say, I probably am more useful to Canada being on the AI track than anything else. So our position is extremely practical and urgent. Like, young people in Canada, you need to aggressively upgrade your digital and AI skills. I mean, if you're a young person in Canada and you're looking where to start, or you want to even just, if you want to be an internet peak demand and show what you got with building out stuff, no problem. We'll have that conversation with you. Or you got to commit to a licensed trade or healthcare type role, where you're getting the skills that human beings, society will always need. We're always going to need healers. We're always going to need builders. Bottom line, there is no returning back to normal of how jobs were got in the past. So like entry level roles, admin work, all that stuff is done. It's all done. Like even some of the guys I talk to at the big tech companies, I got buddies who are developers for big companies, and they say we don't hire entry level anymore. We just have senior people working with AI tools. They're doing the jobs of 2, 3, 4 people. So it really is important that if you're a young person in Canada, you are paying attention to what the job market is telling you. And I do feel bad for young people a little bit, a lot. When I was young, at least if you sent out 2, 300 resumes, you get a few interviews, you get a job. Now you send out 3, 4, 500, I've seen a couple people sending out thousands of applications for no responses. And that's because hiring managers, business owners, literally, I'm telling you, as one, are looking for a specific set of skills that does not come from an entry role. So you sort of have to build yourself up and then go to the job market. You can't just go, oh, I have an education. I graduated from a great school. I'm going to go into the job market now. No, no one cares. No one cares. There's too many young people with degrees for when I'm making considerations for who's joining this team. I don't even ask for a resume. I want to know, what have you done? What are the results that you've put together? Show me a website, show me an application, show me how much you sold. It's really a results driven entry into the job market right now. So uh, you know, shipped work beats resumes in our opinion. Small portfolio of what you've done, logs and metric outperform generic credentials. And obviously, those who are familiar with like stuff like risk, privacy, quality assurance, like you're valuable, but still, producers are what jobs and business are looking for. We have some language here on how to do an AI pilot. We pretty much put that everywhere just to help you guys out if you haven't started yet. But why hiring freezes are spreading in North America? What are the signals? Hiring freezes are spreading across North America. They aren't random. They're reflex of a mix of macroeconomic caution and structural change driven by AI. Understanding the signal helps job seekers and policymakers see where the job market is heading. So some of the big drivers, like the macro effects, high interest rates, capital costs, firms face more expensive borrowing. They got to figure out how to do more for less. Weak per capita growth, even when GDP grows, per person productivity and living standards are flat or falling, which reduces demand for new labor. We're seeing like, hey, the labor output's literally falling with our GDP per capita. Hiring new people is not going to make us more productive. We've literally had teams come here and say, hey, Alex, it doesn't matter if I hire 2, 3, 4, 5 more people. It's not going to make this problem go away. Can you build something that can help? And I say, yeah, we can. So we're literally at a point now where the labor market is presenting options for people to hire who don't meet the skill threshold necessary for business owners to consider them seriously and invest in them, paying them a salary. So I call it the competence gap. Canadians are right now at a competence gap where the business owners and people in hiring positions are looking at the labor force going, these individuals are not strong enough to work the entry role in our company. Let's give it to an AI for less. And that just means we need to upgrade our skills in Canada quickly. I've seen a couple of commercials. I think it was the Raptors. I got to give up to the Toronto Raptors. They were promoting trade schools and the idea that you can get into trades, you can have a six-figure salary and a comfortable lifestyle. You're going to make more than six figures getting into trades over the next few years. I can tell you that right now. Tradespeople are going to become diamonds in this country if you are in the right trade. Like general contractor, you might want to reskill towards maybe something electrician, plumbing, or something like that. Electricians, like you guys, are going to fly over the next couple decades. So anything to do with energy and electricity will do really well. Low business investment. Canada and U.S. are generally well, I would say the U.S. is not so much, but Canada and U.S. are generally underinvested relative to their peers when it comes to like overall, investment into employees. Um, Reluctant to expand payroll without clear ROI. So like we can see the U.S. is very underinvested when it comes to people. They're just cutting jobs left, right, and center and replacing everyone with AI. No problem. They're going to have to go through their transformation. On the Canadian side, we're not as brutal yet, but the signs are there, and they're very subtle and silent. But if you're a young person, you're not on the job market yet. I'm 37 right now, I can tell you, no one's coming to help you. No one's coming to help you. And if anything, there are bigger, stronger, and faster people trying to take your opportunities. You got to upgrade. Productivity push. Organizations are under pressure to deliver more with less, so they pause on headcount until efficient strategies, often involving AI, are tested. So this is huge across the board for everyone. Everyone's looking at their situation going, is this sustainable with the current team that I have? Do I need to hire more people? Do I need newer, better systems? What do we do? And AI efficiency bets. Employers are treating freezes as a reset button, reassessing which tasks to automate, and basically low leverage, repetitive, or easily scripted rules are more risk for redesign. So if you think, oh, I got a job just pushing paper, writing things down, taking notes, all this stuff is being done by computers now. You've really got to start to think differently about where you are and where you want to be in society. The idea, there's a lot of jobs out there that are just there to just put a body into that role, give someone a little salary, maybe write it off at the administrative level. A lot of people right now are in jobs that won't last forever. And it's, I always think about my family and like, you know, not everyone's as go-getter and has like the hardcore initiative and like go hunt for your kills and go put food on the table for you and yours, just for with raw power. Just go do that. Like that's, you have to be your own provider, so to speak. Not everyone has that type of mentality. People, human beings, we need sort of a cushions, or there are going to be those people who have to rely on the strong to provide them with an easy way to do things. But unfortunately, that type of environment's not going to be around forever. And so I really do hope that if you're watching this, like, this is like a pretty much a warning signal that you got to start do something. You got to start thinking differently, making money in different ways. Maybe if you have something that's dragging you down financially, get rid of it. Historically, freezes were temporary. They end once organizations redefine job requirements. Expect reopen roles with different job mixes. This creates opportunity for workers who can reposition themselves, AI fluent contributors from day one. So, like, again, the freeze is going to happen at the company level because the company has to see, okay, what's going to make us better, and then reorganize for that. I know on LinkedIn, there are hundreds of thousands of ghost jobs, literally just companies farming data for employees that they can probably turn around and do God knows what with, or they just have to have job postings up there for their numbers and their accounting and stuff like that. So it really, as a young person, you are far better off graduating from university and right away building something that you can show to people that, hey, I can build this, I'm ahead of the curve, I can help you with your operation, aka AI person, or immediately get into a trade. I saw this video, I think it was on YouTube or Instagram, one of these social platforms, of this girl. She was very adamant that women who were working the more easy jobs like the admin roles, receptionist roles, they had to just wake up, get out of them, and get into trades. And she was telling the camera that she had got hired in this current job market where people are making thousands of applications. She had got hired and then within a couple of days was offered another job. So she quit the first job she got hired on and got another job all within the matter of like days or weeks. So this woman was going through multiple job offerings, getting more and more money in trades. I think she was an electrician or she was doing welding. Welders out there, you guys can make some good money too. But it was just so apparent to me that the types of environments that really need workers are the ones that we're not really paying attention to. And you don't get a lot of women saying, hi, I want to be a welder. But if you did, or if there was that level of initiative, you'd find a job almost right away. Hell, you'd have multiple job offerings. So really sort of rethink where you want to be. Maybe sitting at a comfortable desk answering the phone is not the safest way to put money on the table. Getting your hands a little bit dirty, using some tools and machines, or putting together AI automations, those will get you jobs. So the signal to job seekers is that the market is relabeling what entry level roles look like. Employers want talent that is able to operate with automations tools, data operations, quality assurance, like all this stuff is really important. It's just basically all AI automations, workflow stuff. But if you're not an AI person, like I'm putting this together because we're an AI team just to show you what AI is doing to the job market. If you're not an AI person, please consider trades. We're in desperate need of tradespeople. Ontario hire freeze, what it covers and why it matters. So the big freeze was happening in Ontario. It's going to mean slower access to government jobs, and they're going to focus on internal mobility. I hope they focus on upskilling as well. But I truly believe that they're going to have internal mobility, so people moving cross departmentally, and then they're also going to be taking on public service partners in order to tackle the admin stuff through AI. Um, let's see, for the overall freeze in context in Canada, it's all about tech slowdowns, corporate reset, AI recomposition. So tech sector, like tech sector jobs in Canada came to a freeze a couple of years ago. Like no one was being hired for anything. There's literally almost no junior level jobs left in the tech sector because AI has just completely absorbed them all. And it's it's the on approach into an industry. It's always been the same way. There's been like you become a programmer, you learn some code, you do a boot camp, get into an entry level role, learn from there. But now it's just like because AI is able to do all what you could do way faster, you sort of have to look at what does AI need for me to get a job working with that. Uh, Data hygiene, so data cleaners, really good way to get into the industry. We have to do a lot of data hygiene for bigger projects with larger data sets. Obviously, being able to evaluate, monitor agents, really important. But really, it's I don't want to push so many non-technical people into an industry that they won't be able to flourish in or understand. But if you think you have a mind for technical, or if you think you have an aptitude for technical operations, definitely consider AI. I would say also for anyone who's looking at trades but also wants to sort of benefit from the AI rush, electricians, welders, energy people, they're all going to be very, very valuable as AI starts to consume a lot of the energy we produce. So for employers, the new expectation is we have to, find productivity in our expansion, and that generally means we need to ship automations and that improve productivity and generate ROI. So I'm sort of trying to talk to two different groups here: young people who don't have jobs, employers who are looking at expanding but don't want to break their wallets. And we did a video for the recent freeze by Doug Ford. It's so funny because like we do all these videos on AI automations and how to do this, how to integrate, how to do it. No one cares. No one on YouTube cares how to plug robots into systems. Just usually it's just a business owner. But when we put up a YouTube video on the job market saying hiring freezes are coming and this is going to affect your work and you sort of have to pull your socks up and tighten your bootstraps to get things done, everyone wants to talk about it. So we're going to try and do more videos like that, more news pieces. Obviously, we're still going to do our own pieces, but we're going to give the beast what the beast wants. If the YouTube crowd wants something, we're going to give it to them. But essentially, Doug Ford is saying, "Hey, we got to hire freezing, or we got to freeze hiring right now as well. We got to take some serious considerations for our budget over the next little bit, and that's going to mean adjusting how we look at the expansion process for our agencies." Um, I really do want to focus on those young people that are not currently in the job market yet because I feel like no one's helping you guys. Like first of all, no one's really out here telling young people what to do. I feel like young people, especially in Toronto, I see them walking around. Most of them look sickly, like smoking cigarettes. A lot of their faces, you can see they're just I don't imagine when I was younger we didn't look as downtrodden as you guys look. I think Gen Z is getting a real short end of the stick here, but If you're listening and you still have the wherewithal and the fight in you, because you will need to fight. This is a moment of survival of the fittest, and those who do fight will will rise to the top. I'm almost 100% sure of it. You're looking at someone who has healthcare and allied healthcare roles, so nurses, therapists, if you like, medical spas, clinicians, stuff like that. Women, I would say, if you love going to the spa, you like getting Botox, consider working that environment. It's very lucrative. Skilled trades, again, I want to ask women to maybe open their minds up a little bit more to this stuff, because it's predominantly male environments with skilled trades like electricians, carpentry, and stuff like that. But there's so much money to be made, and there's such a vacuum of skill that if you're good with your hands, especially women are tend to be better with fine motor movements than men, and you can wrap your hands around circuitry and uh, electricity, like, be an electrician. We're going to have a big pull for them. Carpenters, plumbers, HVAC technician, line workers. You also see, HVAC technicians and plumbers not going anywhere. You guys are going to be around forever. But these are the jobs that are going to be needed for our future economy. If you're not doing anything on the digital side or administrative side, if you're not in, working with your hands, you're literally just going to be working with AI. That's the bottom line. And of course, we have the digital and AI enabled roles, AI and data fluency, AI support, people who can build automations. All boring people, to be honest. Sometimes my colleagues bore me because of their incompetence, but we continue working together, and we continue building automations that really do work. So I don't mind boring if it's produces results. What this means for Canada: demographics, investment, and productivity. So we're coming to a point where our population is aging out. We don't even have the young people required to fill the roles that older people will be leaving to us. And it's funny because I talk to a lot of, like, more established guys in the gym, and they're talking about, buying this business, reorganizing this business, and they're just like, we're not even looking at hiring anyone for a lot of this stuff, because we're just going to be building out systems for it. And all these companies are owned by, older generations, older Canadians who've been established, who own a lot of real estate. They don't even care to work or run a business anymore. And I'm just looking at the situation going, well, this would have been the platform or starting block for a young person to excel and grow into their career. And that door is closing, guys. So we really need to think about how we approach the job market. I would say, if you're a young person, try to start a business. Try to start a business first, fail 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Your business experience in trying to generate new business from nothing is more valuable than any internship, any 1, 2, 3 year stint in an administrative role. If you can convince someone that you don't know to give you money for a product or a service, you're doing better than 99% of the people in this country. 100%. And if you can do something like that, schedule a discovery call with us. We have plenty of stuff for you to do. Moving onward, Canada's youth workforce strategy: best jobs to have in the world of AI. So obviously, in the digital side, data ops, automation, agent quality assurance, cloud infrastructure, data center tech. But healthcare, allied health work, trades, field service, education, all really, really good. And if you're a person with no job and you're looking at YouTube and you're like, I got all this stuff where YouTube, make $10,000 a month, make $1,000 a day, all this shit that's being put together by shills, YouTube shills, gurus, all that stuff. Don't pay attention to any of that stuff. Nothing. It's all, take as much free education as you can and put together systems or operations or automations on your own. Do the work, try and explore. You learn a lot more. And then, just because you don't have someone helping you doesn't mean you can't do it. I didn't have anyone helping me. I had ChatGPT. Look at me now. Um, Human intensive chat. So I would say, if you can go through all the details in the article yourself, but bottom line is hiring freezes are happening at the public level, at the private level. The government's, not exactly alluding to exactly what they're going to do after the freeze, but the freezes are happening. And generally, when a freeze happens in the States for a company or they're laying off people, it's because they're retooling their strategy and their operations by using AI. So AI people are having a field day, but if you're not into AI, you're not into all the technology, digital stuff, you gotta find a skill in an area that you think you can do well in. And that might sometimes be, flipping the brain on, turning the switches and saying, hey, maybe, I don't need to sit at a desk and respond to emails and answer the phone. Maybe I can pick up a welding iron or put on some rubber gloves to, do something in healthcare. It's really we I always there's video games. In games, like, you sort of get to choose your class or your profession. Like, say you want to be a cook or a seamstress or a blacksmith or something like that. In the game, it's like an offshoot of the main game or whatever. But I really do feel like we're coming to a point where you have to sort of choose, what sort of a trade or craft do you want to specialize in, and then really get good at that. Like, for me, I fell into digital, 15 years ago, and I've just been doing it since because I'm stubborn. And lo and behold, I'm a technologist now. But if you're not, there yet, and you're in your early 20s, you got to choose something, and you got to figure out what you like and get good at it, or figure out what you're good at and learn to like it, and then you'll be safe in this job market. So that's it. There's an employer playbook here. If you're going through a hiring freeze and you're making considerations on AI operations or hiring, what to look for, all of this content really is for our agency to have increased visibility on ChatGPT and Google and stuff like that. I'm going to do another piece today on news. I'm going to see if we can talk more about the Canadian economy and jobs. But if you liked anything that you see here on Peak Demand, don't hesitate to like and subscribe. I really do feel like I need to talk to young people a little bit more, just because when I was young, no one talked to me, and I know how that feels. It feels like shit when no one above you that is in a position of power can help you. You have to go on a long, painful, and lonely journey to get to a point where you're strong enough where businesses don't look at you and say, oh, you'd be a great person to hire. They look at you and they say, this person is a great contractor to work with. You have to elevate beyond just being in a single role. You have to take on multiple roles, wear multiple hats. So I really do feel for you guys. I'm going to put some more effort into visibility for young people. If you're a young developer and you're trying to figure out, what it is that I can do, how can I make money? I'm really good at building automations, but I don't know how to capitalize on that or monetize that. Schedule a discovery call with us. We have all sorts of stuff to build, but we also want to give opportunities to developers to showcase their builds, and then we'll help you sell them. Additionally, if you're good at sales, we got stuff you can do. What else? Sales, building, just selling and building, really, right now. Research we'll probably get into a little bit more down the line. But if you're on the AI or digital side and need help, book a discovery call with us, no problem. But if you're a business and you're just in this position where you're just like, what do I do? And you just want to have a conversation with another business owner that's sort of clued into this stuff, definitely don't hesitate. And I'm going to leave it at that. If you enjoyed my words today, or like how I sound, like and subscribe, and I'll get started on the next one. Bye now.